The views expressed in the interviews and commentary are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of PPS Holdings Trust, its affiliates, subsidiaries, or employees.
Something there, so like.
Yeah, it's on top of you.
You're hired to go.
Ready?
Yeah. Ready. Ernest is getting ready.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about wills, right?
Oh.
Let's take it to the root cause. Do we need to have kids, guys? Kids are expensive.
You just answered the question.
Do we need to have kids?
No.
Let's start there. As young people in this modern economy, in Cyril's economy, with our lifestyles, how do we feel about having kids and financial implications of that?
Yes. Personally, I believe you can delay having kids. It's nice to have kids. If you're somebody who wants kids, I do want kids at some stage.
Yeah.
Just not now. I can't afford myself. I feel like if I was to have a baby now with teenage pregnancy, I don't want that. So the longer I delay it, the better. Financially, I'm not at a point where I'm comfortable enough to be responsible for somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in my 30s, then I'll consider having children. But I think kids are a blessing. It's nice to have children if you can afford to. There is no right time to have kids. As long as you're healthy, you can have kids, you can do it. But I believe waiting is also okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now the question also pops up. I mean, what happens if it just happens? What happens if it just happens? Like, I mean, we do have control of it up until a certain point in time.
True.
So if that does happen, do we have the necessary means in place to deal with it? Not necessarily wealth or whatnot, but the knowledge.
Yes.
Are we well informed about, okay, cool, now I'm in this position, right? How can I basically structure my life now, like previous made mention, where am I going to take away from now so that I can ensure that my kid is actually can live the life that he wants to live?
Right.
No.
You mentioned a very good point there. For me, I look at kids very practical, guys. You're going to have to forgive me, okay? I look at kids the same as planning to buy a car, planning to buy a house, because over them being a blessing, there's a financial implication, like
big one.
lifelong.
Big
one.
And you really have
100%.
to, I think this is the one thing that isn't really thought about. You asked the question, E, about planning. Why aren't people planning for kids? Why aren't they planned that, okay, we know that we have at least 100K for anything, like in the first 5 years, and like very practical. Like when they come, I wouldn't want my kid to come and now understand that some days I'm taking yoga to school and some days it's going to be something else because
Good point.
dad just squandered all the money that could have been for. I need my kid to feel like I belong here and I deserve to be here and my parents have done the necessary things. I don't want my kid to understand. I think that's I don't want my kid to have to understand that today I'm going to take a taxi because dad doesn't have petrol, or tomorrow it's going to be cooked dinner from last night and not my usual snacks and everything. If we can think of kids that way, generational wealth, like, do I have the tools more than the knowledge, more than the space for the blessing, but do I have all the tools? And what are the tools that are needed for someone to have a kid, like full term? Are we asking ourselves those questions? And like, how far are we going with kids? I mean, it's great for mom to be a grandma, but
and I hear your point. I think it's important to also highlight what you were saying, that sometimes in some situations people have children at a younger age, which is also okay. But we need to put measures in place that the child is comfortable enough. You could have a child as a teenager or in your early 20s, but as soon as you take responsibility for this child, it's important to put things in place to ensure that your child is comfortable, because comfortable for me and Shanae could be different, mean different things. But whatever it means to us, we need to put that in place.
It is.
Yeah.
What
But
happened?
Borja, to your previous point, be honest with yourself.
yeah.
I know financially at the moment, I'm not able to have a kid. Like, it wouldn't make sense.
It starts with you.
It starts with you.
Yeah.
So, exactly what you said, plan ahead. Like, let's cater for that in the future. And even if you don't have kids, kind of bringing it back to the world's topic, is even if you don't have kids or you don't want kids or whatever, like, the moment I started working, I realized, okay, I just bought my first couch. Like, it's just a couch, but a couch is expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
And
Who
then
takes it?
you're buying like your TV stand and whatever else in your house. And then who gets that? You know, what if something happens to me or I get hit by a bus halfway through.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Hopefully not.
So, hopefully not. But yeah, it's so important to have a will, whether you have kids or not. You know, even if it's taking care of your brother or your sister or your parents, just leaving them something behind, not going through all of that turbulation, trying to figure out like what's happening with the will, where's your stuff going, and all of that.
And I'm sure all of us have lost somebody in the past, to be honest. Like, we have gotten to that inevitable point where we lost somebody that was dear to us. Now, do we kind of not want to put something like a will in place now? We're leaving it up to some institution to decide how to distribute our assets and etc. I doubt that, to be honest. I doubt that. And especially when it comes to your hard work money, your hard work cash, your hard work savings, etc.
It's your legacy, man.
It's your legacy. Make sure that it goes towards your legacy, your children, those that basically that are left behind at the end of the day. So it's vitally important.
It is. And I just wanna, you guys, it's such an interesting topic around kids. And kids are a blessing. I mean, I also encourage people to have kids and rather plan. If you can't plan and it happens, just put measures in place. Because you see, what I often find, especially in South Africa, which is a massive challenge, is it doesn't only affect the parent and making sure that you have the right means for your child. Sometimes you have a family and you have a brother that's the breadwinner, that's the only one working. Now you as my sister have a child. And now I can't let your child suffer, but you don't have the means to take care of the child. Now I need to put my stuff on hold to take care of my nephew, my niece, so now it's got this thing, this ripple effect. And I'm not saying, because you mentioned the financial burden, blessing, yes, but also financial burden. And we spoke about managing wealth previously. So it's important to have those little things in place. I mean, if you can, things like medical aid, make sure that you've got the right plan in place. Things like maternity, especially for, it gets so expensive that you use your emergency fund that you were going to use for honeymoon or for your car or for your house to now cater for that. So I think these topics are so interlinked that we need to make sure that we've got the right, solutions in place. So I think it's very important.
I think that's a brilliant point, because whether we like it or not, we aren't able to plan for this always.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
As much as we want to, you kind of need to tee yourself up to be ready at any point in time. Because at the end of the day, if you have a kid, you're responsible for the kid. And your responsibility and your priorities are going to change. You're probably going to prioritize the kid over yourself. So you're going to have to look yourself in the mirror, be honest with yourself, and adapt and be like, listen, I'm going to stop eating out. The baby is now everything. And I do encourage people to get children. I think it's the most core human experience that we could have. It's part of leaving a legacy, just like a will is. It's for making it better for that kid, and that's your responsibility. So you have to really be honest with yourself, make a decision, and adapt your life so that that kid has the best chance of succeeding.
Absolutely. And ask yourself, how much do you love your kid? Just ask yourself that question. Like, do I love my kid that much to make sure that everything is in order?
Right.
Or, is it just a burden now?
And I think also very important, we spoke a lot about kids. You mentioned when you bought your couch and you didn't have any children, What's also important is you see this whole thing around wills and maybe estate planning. It's so cool that even when you don't have kids, it's right to have the right stuff in place, because you can leave it to maybe a trust or your dependents or your niece. So you always need to make sure that when you speak to someone, just understand how, maybe have a plan in place of how you want your legacy to continue. I'm saying I've got this DJ set and CDJs and everything, and it's something huge for me, right? And maybe at the time I don't have kids, maybe I'm not ready, because there are people that have kids in their late 40s, and that's okay.
That's okay.
But just always make sure that you've got the right stuff in place to make sure that your legacy continues, so you can have a trust. You can, open stuff like that. And, with the wills topic, you can get those things put in place. So it's very important.
But I think it's also important to note that there's some people who don't want kids.
Yes.
And some people who can't have kids.
And that's okay.
But you accumulated assets. So what now? What happens to them?
Yes.
Some people want to donate them.
Yes.
And for you have other family members that might want to keep your...
That feel entitled.
That feel entitled to your house.
Yeah.
That feel entitled to your couch. But you want to donate it to charity.
Yes.
What do you do then?
Exactly.
That's where your will comes in.
Absolutely.
That's where your estate planning now comes
Absolutely.
in. That I want to donate this to a charity that I think will benefit from this.
Absolutely.
I don't want to give it to Gogo. Gogo was never in my life. She doesn't deserve this. But I want to give it to somebody that I feel will benefit from this. So I think that's where estate planning also comes in. It's not only about people, it's not only about a human leaving stuff to a human. It's for the causes you also believe in, and whatever makes you feel it's important for me to leave this to this person or this institution.
But also, if you really look at it, it's also part of long-term insurance in a way, because when you're not here, someone else is going to still have to live a very comfortable life from this. I don't know how many examples we have when someone passes and there's no will, nothing on paper, and it's just like, okay, so
crazy.
Mom said to me that because I like this jacket, I can have it. And here, there's a piece of paper saying, leave it to Shanae, and it's like,
fighting for a jacket.
Family feuds.
I think that's sort of the most important thing, right? So, like, my argument for getting a will is you're never too young to get a will. Because honestly, I don't want the last memory of my family and loved ones being like, yes, Theo left us with so much admin. You know, I don't want to be that guy. Like, if I'm going to be remembered as like, yes, Theo's stuff was like
on top
sorted,
of it.
you know, he was on top of it, like, So, I mean, in my case, like, I have an automated email. So whenever I die, my best friend can email me there and say like, bro, yes, do it. And then he'll get like all my passwords, all my accounts, and like he'll know exactly where to get what to delete. And then
it gets to that.
So I'm trying to be very proactive with it, because you want to be, you know, you want to be sorted from that perspective. You don't want people to struggle with your stuff.
Of course.
Tell me about that after this. Please. What did you need?
To do the stuff now, right?
I think as young people, we're afraid to plan for death because we're afraid of dying. You think I'm going to die it's still very far. But look at you, you already have plans.
Just a quick question. Theo,
very important.
we have a quick question.
Did
you test it? Like, what are the words that activate automation? Is it bra?
Yes,
like straight up.
Yeah, straight up.
Voice recognition or
no, email. He just emails me, but only if it comes from his email address.
So only one person has.
Only him.
What if he goes before you?
Then I'm gonna transfer it to
somebody else.
Person,
Does he have the same for you?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, and then I have another question, right? Guys, what is fiduciary services? What does that even mean? It's more than just a will, right? But what is it? Do we know? Does anybody have any insights?
Catering for kind of life after your life has ended. Catering for what comes after. I read an article that said, or that referred to a will as the last love letter that you'll ever leave to the people in your life. So that's kind of hectic. So
that's a cool way to think about it.
It is.
Because then you're more intentional with it.
But what's inclusive of fiduciary? Like, I understand it from a will's perspective, estate planning, but what more does it offer? Do you guys know?
I think, and obviously personal opinions, and we can get the right experts in the room, but I think to your guys' point, what's important is to break it down into the different components, right? You know, will being part one component of fiduciary, estate planning, trust administration, you know, all these things sort of coming together depending on the client or person you're dealing with. Because sometimes you're dealing with companies and directors in there, and you know how you administer that, and it's very important. So I think when you think of fiduciary, in my mind, it's thinking about all these little elements that make up that umbrella fiduciary, which is wills, you know, estate planning, you know, trust, and all of that. So I think what I want to mention though while speaking about wills is we always need to remember that family feud, and if you have a good will in place that's really structured, put away in safe custody, because another thing that a mistake we often make in South Africa is you draft your will, but it's not signed, it's not updated, it's not in safe custody. Your house burns down, and it happens a lot, or you lose it, and then something happens to you, there's no will in place. So it's one thing to write the will, but it's also important to make sure that it's signed, it's put away, and it's in safe custody. Because most institutions give you free safe custody fees per year. So I think, and that's part of a fiduciary that you get. So it's important.
And I think it's also important to tell people where
Well, exactly.
So if you
Well,
put it in
exactly.
someone's, like, in safe custody, tell them, like, listen, I put it with this company.
With this institution.
Because a lot of people don't know
Exactly.
where you banked at, where you had
Exactly.
insurance. Like, it becomes quite a difficult
They might
thing.
kill you. They might kill you.
Got to get through the broker first.
Advice is important.
Yeah.
I think that also speaks to how important that little document is, because what happens if I have something over here, some money over there, something over here? Your family is literally going through so much trauma from just losing you. Now you're leaving them with the responsibility of like trying to wrap up all of this information with no map. No map. That is basically what that will is there for, so that you can ensure that, okay, they can have the time to recover from the loss, and they can actually like recover sufficiently from it, because you've provided them an outline. X, Y, Z, this is what I want. I'm no longer there, so I can't actually tell you this, but it's laid out for you guys, so you guys are settled. It's okay.
I like that map. That's a cool
Map.
name.
And
Here's step 1, step 2, do this, chat to this guy.
Send an email first.
Start with an email.
and very important, speaking about the admin of it, that's why it's important, especially if you have a bigger estate, right? And then you're a professional, you've accumulated all these assets, and now you have a big estate, but you don't have the right will. You need to nominate a good executor. So if you've got an executorship is a very important thing in this topic, because sometimes what normally happens is even people with large estates, they'll nominate my cousin as the executor, but they don't do it. They don't do a good job to wind up the estate. And what's important in fiduciary is that once you nominate the right institution as an executor, you get your staff allocated or distributed rather equally and according to your wishes. So it's important to have a right will put with the right institution and then nominate the right executor, because things get distributed. You don't want your family to know you as the admin person while you're on the other side. So it's important to
give it to a pro. Give it to a pro.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, did we cover everything?
Did we cover everything?
Round wolves,
got it.
we should be covered.
It should be covered. Yeah.
Covered.
Solid.
Hi, I'm Shanae, and just a reminder, everything that we said here does not constitute as professional advice. It's only our personal experiences. Please contact your fiduciary specialist for further information.
Excellent.